Hey there, welcome to day 306 of our BU 365-day challenge to do one thing every day that improves us in some way. Today we're talking about, we're doing every day this month, the month of November, and I've done this for a couple of years now. I've done it on my own as a way to learn and continue and grow, but I added it to my challenges in 2020, 2021, and I'm going to continue the tradition in 2022. A lot of people practice No Shave November, where they don't shave, and I saw an interesting take on that yesterday, which is absolutely made up by someone else. No Shave November comes from hunters deciding that they're not going to shave the whole month of November because they're just going to get burly beards and look all macho or whatever. So I can't remember what they said it was for some cause, and I'm like, that's not what originated or where it really came from. But okay, we all get different ideas of where things come from and what they mean to us. Well, so I'm going to do, instead of No Shave November, No Nonsense November, where I just share every day of the month one big giant lesson I've learned, or aha, or discovery, or something I figured out that's made my life easier. And today's is WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. Now, this is actually from the 1960s, which is when I was born. So there was a comedian by the name of Flip Wilson who did a drag character called Geraldine. And her tagline was, what you see is what you get. Now, I'm not doing it like he did, but basically she would perform these skits on United States television, and her tagline as part of that skit was always, what you see is what you get. Meaning, I'm here, this is me, love me, hate me, it doesn't matter to me, what you see is what you get. And then as computers came of age, because during my lifetime, computers have come into existence and being, and technology with programming and things, the acronym, now I gotta look, WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. WYSIWYG became really, really popular. I mean, most people at this point know what WYSIWYG means. It means what you tell the computer to do, the computer's going to do. You're not going to get any unexpected features. And guess what? If there's a mistake and something doesn't perform the way you think it should, it's operator error, right? It's the programmer. It's not the program. The computer only does what we tell it to. So I love this expression, what you see is what you get. I love this topic, and it taught me a lot because it reminds me to ask myself a couple of key questions. Number one, what am I seeing? What am I seeing? What's right in front of me? Because sometimes we look for hidden meanings and hidden things, and the truth, the reality, the thing we need to see, meaning our reality, is right in front of our face, but we're not even allowing ourselves to see it. So what you see is what you get. And then what am I showing the world? How am I showing up? Am I being myself, or am I trying to be somebody else, or like somebody else, or make somebody else's thing work for me? You know, it leads to a lot of deeper questions. You know, who am I? Why am I here? But what you see is what you get. Are you showing up authentically as who you are in your life and in your world? Are you actually living your life? I remember when I woke up one morning, and this was years after my divorce, and I realized with horror, literally horror, that the voice in my head had become my ex-husband's. And, you know, it was my husband's when he was my husband, but my ex-husband's voice, even years after my divorce, was still the first thing that popped into my head every single morning when I woke up. How disempowering and ridiculous is that? You know, and as soon as I realized it, I changed it. But all those years, my subconscious just kept feeding me his voice. And that's what happens to a lot of us. We're hearing our mother's voice, our old bosses, our teacher from second grade or first grade, our first boyfriend, our first girlfriend, whatever, our first friend. A lot of times the voice in our head isn't really even our own. So we want to reclaim that and take that back. And remember that what you see is what you get. And we'll talk about this later, because it's one of my favorite, biggest lessons is people show us exactly who they are, but we have to be willing to see and look at that. So what's our challenge today? Think about this acronym. What you see is what you get. And what are you seeing? Because we only allow ourselves to see through the different filters and veils of our past experiences what we want to see. And if it's scary or we don't want to see it, guess what? We physically won't even see it. We won't let ourselves see it. It's like We can watch, two different people can watch the same exact event happen, and they will see and report totally different perspectives and point of views on what happened in that situation. It's why when there's witnesses to crimes and things, you get so many different stories about what actually happened, because we each see things through the filter of our own past experiences and our own beliefs. So what you see is what you get. Are you showing up authentically? What are you seeing? And what are you allowing yourself to see? And how are you showing up? Those are our questions for today. That's it. I'd love to know your experience with this particular topic. Do you feel like it's a big aha lesson learned for you? It was for me, because I wasn't always showing up authentically. Heck, if I had my ex-husband's voice in my head, how do you think I was showing up in the world? Definitely not as 100% authentically myself. So, had a boot hit out. All right, if I can help you anyway, ask advice. I'll be with you tomorrow with another No Nonsense November. I challenge you this month, as I'm sharing mine, to think about what are some of the biggest lessons learned and the biggest ahas and the biggest discoveries that you've had that have caused you to change and shift your life in the way you want it to go. We don't care about the ones that were the mistakes that didn't take us in the direction we want to go. We want to build on the ones and the experiences and the ahas and the realizations that help us move to becoming the best version of ourselves. All right, have a great day. I will be with you tomorrow.